I hear you.
So cute. I can't even.
I hear
What a
you.
great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back, folks. Unbelievable stuff is happening. It is beyond comprehension, it seems. It's just ridiculous. Unbelievable. Right? It's incredible. Let's start with this. Let's just start right off the bat with the man who was supposed to be president, right? He's got the title, G. Biden, Joe Biden, let's go Brandon, right? He says, this is his big move today. It has to stop. He's telling social media companies to, quote, deal with. That's what he wants to happen out there, folks. Hi, Bentley. How you doing there, buddy? Bentley, say hello to everybody. Everybody say hello to Bentley. Okay. Says, deal with COVID, quote, misinformation and disinformation, end quote. Misinformation, disinformation. You mean like wear masks, don't wear masks, wear masks, don't wear masks? We are all about satire and cynicism and being smart Alex here. But this is just becoming incomprehensibly, unbelievably stupid, what is being shoved and pushed on us. It has to stop. What has to stop? The First Amendment? Free speech? I mean, this is what pisses me off. What has to stop is the censorship. I have dynamite information that I want to share right here, right now. Dynamite. It would blow the lid off of everything they're saying, but I can't say it. In other news around the world, I can't say it, folks. I'm not allowed to say it because they would label it misinformation or disinformation, while I would be quoting the government's own sources. I would quote their own websites on death counts and infection rates, yada, 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 yada. I'm not allowed to do it. But they're not satisfied. Again, we talked about this last. We talked about it last. They are not winning. They don't have a good argument. So they have to continue to silence us. The mainstream media, right? They're supposed to bring us fact and truth. They're not. This is incredible what they're doing, folks. So let's see where the next step is. Oh, by the way, YouTube has been punishing me on the back end, letting me know that my language, it's not that I'm saying misinformation or disinformation, because I'm not. Now they're punishing me because my language is too dirty and adult-like. Right, yeah, okay, that's how this works. They can drop the F-bomb on television, but I can't drop a deuce here. I can't say shit. I guess that's how this works, huh? Unbelievable. But expect the next level of censorship, media manipulation, lying, hypocrisy, etc., to come from these people. And while we're on it, the Supreme Court, folks, blocks Biden's OSHA Cerveza bug and Jim Jones juice mandate. Now, before you jump up and down and cheer too much, I want you to understand what has happened. It's not a 100% repudiation of the president's ability to dictatorially mandate to people. Now, the dissenting vote that said, no, it can still apply for medical workers was none other than Justice John Roberts and Justice Kavanaugh. They sided with the extreme liberal communists to say, well, President dictator Xi Biden is not allowed at this time to mandate through OSHA, which is a bureaucratic regulatory authority, supposedly working with health and safety guidelines for occupations. They said you can't tell private businesses that they must mandate. That's good. I mean, it's great news. They found that. They found enough testicles between their legs to do that. But they then turned around and, like I said, Roberts, who is no surprise, what a spineless worm he is, and Kavanaugh, who's proven to be just a turd in a punch bowl, Kavanaugh. It's okay for the mandate to exist for healthcare workers. And what have we been reading about just in the past week? Hospital shutdown after hospital shutdown after hospital shutdown, because they don't have enough healthcare workers because of these mandates. And this idea that they're just going to have the military supply them. Well, if the military is taking care of civilians, who's taking care of military personnel that need medical attention? Folks, it is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, when it comes to irretrievably, irrevocably stupid, the Democrats know no bounds and limits. For example, and oh, by the way, this is just my monologue. You guys have Q&A, so be sure and get your questions in, folks, for the second half of the show. And remember this, right? You can handle the truth. The government says you can't handle the truth, but you can. And so let's leap headlong into this with a barrage of unbelievably stupid. And yeah, by the way, it's all satire.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Democrats are demanding, folks, in the streets of Washington, D.C., they're demanding that people show proof to walk around. You have to show proof. But you don't have to have proof or identification to vote. How ridiculous is this, folks? So how can the people of Washington, D.C. go to vote with no ID if they aren't allowed out of their homes in a lockdown and would be required to show ID if a cop saw them? Right? This is, it's absolutely ridiculous. You have to have ID to be on the street. You don't have to have ID to vote. It is so, the backwards is backwards. Now, someone from another country can be in our country visiting, and they don't need United States citizenship ID, right? They don't. But to vote, you should. It's completely backwards. And it's going to get worse. Every time I think they're done, they can't be any more stupid, they prove me wrong. They do, right? Now, you remember that movie G.I. Jane? You know, do I believe that women should serve in the military? You bet. Do I believe they should be forced? No. But should they be allowed? Of course. Everyone can play a role and fill a part. But they're continuing to use the military for social engineering and experimentation, right? The military has lowered the standards. So a captain, a female captain wants to be in the special forces. She's quit 3 times, but they want to lower the standards so that she can be the first woman to pass, right? This is the special forces, not the Special Olympics. What's required of these almost, I don't want to use that word, that's too harsh. These are incredible physical and mental specimens that make it into Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps Special Forces. They are doing the most insane jobs out there, these special operators, and it is because of their unnatural abilities, their physical capability, that they get to do these jobs. because no one's looking in a place where human beings shouldn't be able to survive, exist. And you know, they can sneak in, they can sneak out, they can do things no one else can. They can hold their breath longer, subject themselves to harsher physical torture. And folks, when it comes to things like hypothermia or hyperthermia, that affects the brain's ability to function. So these special forces operatives, they have to pass these extremely rigorous physical tests, survive extreme cold, extreme heat, and still be able to function mentally. Not just survive, but survive and operate at peak efficiency. They are literally, when compared to the rest of humanity, they are freaks of nature. And I don't mean to degrade them with that, but to say they're like superhumans. And to lower the standards so that someone could get in to make a social statement, a political statement, is exactly what the movie G.I. Jane was about. Right? There's no place for someone in there that can't do the job at that level. Right? Now, there's no way in hell I could have been a Navy SEAL. I did not have the ability to operate in hypothermic conditions. Right? I shut down. It's just too damn cold. Hypothermia ended me. There's no way I could. And I know what I'm capable of at this stage in life and other stages. And look, if you can't do it, you don't get to do that job. That is an incredibly special job. But here again, this ridiculous government, right, that requires identification to walk outside your home, but not to vote. This ridiculous government that wants to make you have a special hall pass so that you can go to restaurants, bars, and clubs, right? But in order to get that hall pass, you have to risk your life by taking a drug that is experimental. Unbelievably stupid. And they want to continue to socially experiment on the military. And its primary job, I think they've forgotten this, the military's primary job is to kill people and blow things up. That's what we're supposed to do. Not be able to go and hug a teddy bear in a safe space. That's not the military. That's for candy ass college students. Right? The military is supposed to be about blowing shit up and killing people, winning wars, not getting your genitals cut off, not transitioning, right? That's not what it's about, but they're making it about that. Do you think that the Russians or the Chinese are going to give a shit, right, about the military? Do you think they're going to be afraid? Well, let me give you an idea of what they do think. Saber rattling is getting really loud. Russia has laid out its security demands at NATO headquarters, and they did that while their own army was doing a live fire exercise drilling near Ukraine. You know, if the United States doesn't protect Europe, Europe barely knows how to protect Europe. And they're certainly not, the Russians aren't afraid of the Europeans. And they're making some demands saying, you know what, we've had it with all this shit. You know, the United States is busy castrating itself on the world stage with this ridiculous crap. All of this wokeism and anti-white critical race theory that's coming at it from the very top. Milli Vanilli, General Milli Vanilli, a white general, wants to understand his own white racism. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It is unbelievable shit, and it's occurring right now while SHTF has been going on. Let us continue, though. You think I've sunk to the bottom of the SHTF barrel? No, no, no. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Canceling student debt. According to Elizabeth Warren, canceling student debt will, quote, persuade a lot of young people, end quote. Persuade them to what? It's going to persuade them that Biden is on their side. He is in the fight for them. In other words, buying votes. Canceling student debt. Really, that's how this works? How about if we cancel everyone's mortgages then? That'll buy a bunch of votes too, wouldn't it? The whole country would vote Biden, all 350 million of us, plus the dead people. all would vote for Biden if we all get everything paid for free. And why not? Because they've decided with modern monetary theory that you can print all the money you want and there is no economic consequence for it. Not a bit. Why don't we just cancel all the debt on all the credit cards, all judgments from courts, all mortgages, car loans, just cancel it all. Have a big jubilee. Tell the banks, hey, you don't get any more money. We're going to start again fresh. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? Well, let's try it. Hell, let's give it a shot. We're trying everything else. Unbelievable. I mean, this, and it's not just Biden. It's Democrats at the top level, the middle level, the bottom level. Get this. Mayor Lightfoot. That's Lori Lightfoot. Beetlejuice. Mayor Beetlejuice has sent city inspectors into a business so they could fine him. Why? Because a business owner complained on TV that smash and grab thieves stole $1 million in classic watches from his business. So because he made her look bad, she sent inspectors to his place to find something wrong with his business so that she could fine him. Is that what government is supposed to do? Well, I mean, I know it's not the first time, and I'm sure it won't be the last time. And it's not just Chicago, it's all over the place. President Barack Hussein Barry Sotoro Obama, he used the Internal Revenue Service. And I'm sure a lot of you have forgotten this. He used the Internal Revenue Service to intimidate and harass Tea Party members. You remember that? He was so afraid of a political voice that opposed his own that he used the IRS as a harassing tool. And that was what, 12 years ago, 14 years ago? Whenever it was a long time ago. May not have been 14, I think it was 12 years ago. Point being, though, that is what these people are doing, and they're going to get better at it, if you will, or worse, depending on what side you're on. They're going to use the government to punish. They're going to use the government to coerce. They're going to use threats and force. Or they will remove said protections that government is supposed to provide, you know, like police. They remove the police, crime goes up. They let BLM and Antifa go, and what happens? They start attacking people again, right? It is unbelievable. Well, you think we're done? You think I'm out of information? You think that's all you've got, John? That's it? That's all you got? Well, folks, this isn't for the year, but under normal circumstances, yeah, that would fill a fucking year's worth of shit. It's not, folks, and it's not for the month. It's not for the week. It is just a couple of hours, and these news stories just keep coming and coming. How bad is it? Well, it's not just the federal government or the state or the local stuff. It's corporate institutions are punishing and coercing people, folks. F you to McDonald's. Okay, let me say that again. F you to McDonald's. The Ronald McDonald House Charity. You've heard of it, the Ronald McDonald House. They help kids, kind of like St. Jude's or the Shriners, right? They like to help kids. Well, the Ronald McDonald House is set to begin evicting cancer-stricken children because they haven't taken the Jim Jones juice. My head almost exploded. These kids are in the Ronald McDonald House. They're cancer-stricken. They're children. And it's been well established by CDC that children don't need Jim Jones juice. They don't have to have it, right? Plus, these are cancer-stricken kids, meaning their immune systems are already battered down. Why the hell would you take someone with a beaten, destroyed immune system and then put stuff in there that makes the immune system react? Right? It's like they're not having a hard enough time, and so they're just going to kick them out, folks. They're kicking kids out of the Ronald McDonald House in Canada. F you, McDonald's. I can't think of anything else to say. Right? This is the world we're living in now, folks. This is, oh, you think that's bad? You think I'm done yet? Again, just today, right? It's just today. And now I've done, let's see, federal government, state government, local government. I've done corporate idiots. Let's go international. Let's do it. Let me give you some more unbelievable shit, folks. In Australia, the Premier McGowan released this ridiculous, and I would call it racist, public service announcement. Trying to convince the Aboriginal Australians that they need to get the Jim Jones juice. And so this guy stood there with an Aboriginal woman who translated everything that he said from Australian English into Aboriginal English. I don't know what another way you could describe it, maybe as pidgin. You know, it's just this really kind of, it's there. It'd be like someone in New York City talking to a Cajun from down in the swamps, right? They're both kind of English and they both might kind of understand each other, but they're really not quite the same language. Anyways, this guy is talking and telling them, and then he pops off in the middle of it with, "It is free and it's safe." I just went, what? Really? It's safe? Okay, folks. Now, if Aboriginal Aussies don't want the Jim Jones juice, you have to start asking yourself some questions. And this is one of these things we like to do here, is we get prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You know, having a plan, geez, what's going to happen? You have to ask some questions. What in the history or what in the past of Aboriginal Australian people, these are the, the original occupiers of the land. I don't know what other way to put this, right? In Canada, they call them First Nation. Here in the United States of America, we say, that just doesn't matter. You know who I'm talking about. What is it in their past that makes them distrust the government? It's the same reason, the same thing why African Americans don't trust the government, because they've been lied to and poisoned and experimented on. You know, First Nations people up in Canada, same story. So why the hell should they trust them now if they haven't trusted them in the past? Right? Why is it that the government wants to go after them so bad that they're using this bald-faced fucking lie? It's free and it's safe. First off, nothing is free. Somebody's paying for it. And if it's so good, why do they have to coerce them? If it's so needed, if the threat is so great, right? And it's safe. Let's throw that in there, right? Oh, by the way, he almost did a Joy Behar. Well, we've already experimented on white people, and so it's now safe for you silly brown folks. It was just insulting. Absolutely insulting. But I want you to tell me if it's safe. Okay? Now, you know what Iron Man is, right? If you don't know what Iron Man is, these are once again superb athletes. They're kind of like the special forces of the athlete world. They swim, I think, 3 miles. They have to bike, I think, 10 or 15 miles. I don't know what the biking is, or maybe it's 100 miles. And then they have to run I think they got to run a fucking marathon, right? Iron Man. And women do that too. And it's just excruciating. These are, again, people who are physically conditioned to suffer cold in the water, heat, right? The run, it's incredible. They're super athletes. Well, a 38-year-old one has died from heart attack during the swim portion, and the swim portion is the first part. Take a guess what he died from. Take a guess. Well, I already told you heart attack. Take a guess why a super athlete at age 38 died of a heart attack. I can tell you, I competed in strongman at age 39. That was the strongest I ever was in my life, age 39. I was a freaking animal. You can't say, well, that's too old. No, sorry. That's not how the human body works, actually. You may slow down a little, but you actually get stronger as you get older. That, little secret and a hint for the young guys out there. Yeah, it's safe, all right. Ask that 38-year-old. Oh, wait, you can't. He's dead. Sorry about that. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. Let's try this again. This is incredible. I mean, there's another Brazilian girl out there who died, and I've been wanting to not say anything, but I can't not say anything. Maddie DeGray, 13-year-old girl. The Jim Jones juice is not safe, folks. It wasn't safe for those people that drank the poison Kool-Aid back in the 70s, and it's not safe now. It's not. The mother had some excruciating and painful words that she wanted to share with the world. And I've been kicking around whether or not to read what the mother had to say about the loss of her 13-year-old daughter. It was Vanessa Martins Figueiredo, was 13-year-old from Brazil, and she died due to complications. And this is what her mother had to say. Quote, I come to alert all mothers that my daughter is dying because of the Jim Jones juice. She is 13 years old. A beautiful girl full of life is dying because of this wretched Jim Jones juice. I don't wish the suffering I'm going through on any mother. Take a good look at these pics and look at what this disgrace of this juice did to my girl. I can't give you details. I can't say a whole lot more about it, folks. Who are the real experts? Well, the television will tell you. Who are the real experts? Who are the real scientists? Well, Washington, D.C., they're going to tell you. And in fact, as of course, Joe Biden said, it has to stop. No more misinformation and disinformation. So everyone else has to shut up and only let them be the people that speak. Well, who's going to speak for this girl that's no longer with us? The thousands that are no longer with us, who's going to speak for them? Right? Seriously, who's going to speak? They can't speak for themselves, folks. That's what the job of the strong is supposed to be. The powerful, the influential. Their job as strong, influential, and powerful people is supposed to be to speak and stand and protect those who can't do it for themselves or aren't strong enough. So yeah, so little Vanessa gone. We had that model die. They're just thousands, folks, tens of thousands. How many people? How many more super athletes have to go away before we realize, I guess it's not what they said it is. Right? How many more? It's almost too much. It's very bothersome to me. Right? Oh, by the way, I mean, just to give you an idea of the insanity, the unbelievable the unbelievable SHTF shit that is occurring, right? After firing healthcare workers in California because they refused to get the Jim Jones juice, California is now telling COVID positive medical workers to stay on the job. How does that make a lick of sense? I thought this stuff was so bad that you had to quarantine in your own home. Now You have to stay on the job if you get it. And it's because they've already fired all of their unvaccinated healthcare workers. They're running out of people to do any kind of job, folks. So yeah, now it's okay to have it, to stay at work. This is kind of where we were, was it not, in normal times 5 years ago? Hey, you get sick, you get a cold, a cough, the flu, you go to work, right? You knuckle down, you toughen up buttercup, you take your NyQuil, you take your Dayquil, you go to work and you do your damn job. But here we are, right? First, we're supposed to stay home to flatten the curve. Now it's everyone get to work because we're out of workers. Can it get any more unbelievable? Oh, I'm sure of it. But wait, there's more. I know I've gone past my 30 minutes. You guys get your questions into Jolene while I finish up with this gem. The southern border, the U.S. border. What was Trump doing down there? Oh, yeah, build the wall. He got funding for the wall, was building the wall to keep what? Human traffickers out, to keep drug traffickers out, to keep illegals out. In order to come in, you have to be legal. Go through the paperwork process, get a green card, get a visit or travel visa, whatever it takes. Don't come here illegally. Well, Joe Biden, not only did he kill pipeline jobs, killed tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of jobs on day one, and believe me, he's lost this country many more jobs since. Not only did he do that, but he stopped building the wall, right? We don't need no wall down there. But what is he doing today? And I want to thank Fuzzy for sending me the video early on, and then you could say the alternative news covered it later. But thank you, Fuzzy, for getting it to me ahead of other news sources. Around the White House, they're putting up concrete barriers, not just the little kind that stop cars, but the kind that stop humans. Truckloads of concrete barriers being unloaded with cranes. That's how heavy these things are. Big concrete barriers, folks, to go around the White House, but leave the U.S. border wide open. Who and what is Joe Biden afraid of that he needs an additional set of concrete barriers to stop humans? Let's see, having I think a phalanx on the roof, guards, the Marine Corps, and everyone else to protect the White House from invasion. Now we need concrete barriers put up. So if I know how things work, someone had to have the idea, meaning someone must have felt threatened. They said, we feel threatened. Then they had to go to committee and decide what to do about it. They said, we need a concrete border, or we need a barrier. Then they had to have another committee meeting to decide what kind of barrier. They chose concrete. So then they said, we need to put this out for process to bid, right? We need to do some RFPs, requests for proposals. So then they put out requests for proposal. Company A wins. They give them the design. They build the mold. And now they're finally delivering the barriers. How long ago did they decide that they were going to do this? It's not like they just said, let's do concrete barriers today, and someone showed up with them magically. No, they've been planning this, folks. So what are they planning on doing that they need to protect the White House from being overrun by humans? Now, if Russia, China, NATO, or any other country decided to attack the White House, do you think they would try flooding it with human bodies, or do you think they would use helicopters, missiles, jets to try and launch weapons at it? Right. Yeah, if you just wanted to damage it. So what are they trying to stop? They're trying to stop humans. Who are the most likely humans, right, that they're afraid of? Oh, that would be parents. That's right. The White House is erecting concrete security wall barriers around the White House to protect themselves from angry parents, because the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, and the FBI have decided that parents are domestic terrorists because they want to stop their children from being taught communist manifesto indoctrination garbage. And yes, as usual, I've gone long. Let's get to your questions now. Let's see what you want to talk about.
Are you ready?
Oh, man. Oh, my right shoulder. Oh, my anus. All right, we got Jay Clifton checking in. He says, the Federal Bureau of Investigation just arrested Stuart Rhodes, and Stuart Rhodes is the leader of the Oath Keepers. He is the founder. They've arrested him for sedition. The first arrest for such charge. Isn't that the same FBI that said there was no insurrection? Isn't that fascinating? Yeah, the FBI, who helped investigate the January 6th protesters and arrest them, they let the mainstream media use the term insurrection. They let the politicians in Washington, the Democrats in Congress, throw around the word insurrection. But the FBI came out and they determined that there was no insurrection. So why is Stuart Rhodes, founder of the Oath Keepers, why is he being arrested for sedition? Well, we need to look up the word sedition in the dictionary and then tear that piece of paper out and throw it away, because the government doesn't care what the meaning of words really are. They're just going to make up what they want. See, they could come and arrest you anytime they want, make up a bunch of bogus charges, and what are you going to do about it? Huh, little American? What are you going to do? You're going to hire a lawyer just to prove that the government was incorrect. You're going to pay tens of thousands of dollars to defend yourself against baseless, false charges. Now, in the real world of criminal justice, you have to have evidence of a crime, period. Whether the crime has been committed or the crime is being planned, that's called conspiracy, right? You have to have evidence of the crime. You have to take this evidence and you can take it to the grand jury, or you can take it to a judge and they'll give or award an arrest warrant. So apparently they've got enough evidence that they can say that Stuart Rhodes has committed a crime, the crime of sedition. This is where changing the definition or mislabeling it is key in whatever they're doing. Because I'm sure if Stuart Rhodes had said, everyone, let's meet on the corner of 1st and 10th Street and bring your arms, they would have done it, right? I don't think he's done any such thing. Sedition. You want to know what sedition is? It's the Democrat Party in Washington, D.C. That's sedition. Right? Stuart Rhodes is an oath keeper. So veterans of the military, current and former, active duty members, police, current and former police are members of the Oath Keepers organization. That's kind of a rather patriotic and law-abiding crowd to go and push a seditious concept on, don't you think? That's a little dangerous since there's current law enforcement there. Do you think current law enforcement would be involved with a crowd that is committing crimes? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So, if they're going to start arresting people, interesting. Christine B. Hahn checks in and says, when I say I don't know what to even ask about anymore, it isn't because I don't know what's happening. It's because I do know what's happening. Well, what you need to do, though, Christine, I'm going to recommend this, is take a piece of paper and write it down. Write down everything. Now, when the shit hit the fan, and I said, that's it, and I grabbed a bottle of scotch, pulled out that last cigar and lit it up and said, yep, they started this shit at the beginning of the cerveza hysteria. And at that point, and I believe for about 1 year, was it 1 year? I kept copious notes, daily logs of what was going on, being said. And I use those in the show. I still have those, by the way, right? The ridiculous crap that's happening. And it helped me put things in order. There is so much going on. I think that is what it's part of their intentional plan. They're intentionally using everything that's happening to confuse us, to befuddle us, to make us balk, right? So that's why I say, hey, look, it's not just a power grid issue. It's not just food, right? It's not just any one thing. It's everything is under attack in America. The legal system, right? Did you hear that Supreme Court ruling? No. I mean, they got it partially right, but not for the right reasons, in my opinion. But the legal system, the military, the education system, the financial system, right? The monetary system. How about our checks and balances system? How about our infrastructure? How about our food, our agricultural system? How about trade, transportation, our infrastructure? How much more needs to be jacked up? See, they're jacking everything up. So no matter where you look, you're befuddled, confused. There's just chaos all around us. Meanwhile, the grocery stores still have some food on the shelves, right? The lights are still on in the bunker, hopefully your bunker as well. The world hasn't come to a grinding halt, but it certainly doesn't look, smell, taste, or feel like the world we're familiar with. You do know what's happening. You do. We all do. We all see it. Even those who aren't awake see it and know it. Folks, those who are Democrats, they know it. They're going to line up and take their Jim Jones juice. You bet they're going to get a juice booster every day of the week if they're told. They know there's something wrong, but for some reason, they think that by obeying, they're going to be on the good side, right? The good side. Hello again, Bentley. Now, Latin American Preparedness checks in, and he says $650 billion of exports go through the Canadian border every year. Truck crossing on an average of every 5 seconds. Saturday, January 15th, that's 2 days from now, folks. The Jim Jones juice is required for any trucker that wants to cross that border. 12,000 truck drivers are expected to strike. Thoughts? Yeah. Let's see. My recommendation is you take your wallet, stick it in the crack of your ass, and then bend over and kiss it goodbye. Inflation, folks. Inflation. This is going to create increasing shortages. Now, what's the solution? Well, Kamala Harris, Vice President of the United States, supporter of BLM and Antifa rioting, burning, and looting, and murdering. She was asked, is the Biden administration going the wrong way? Right, that was asked. Should they change course with the way that they are addressing the cerveza bug issue? Well, basically, she puked up a word salad. Didn't really have an answer. Now, is it because she doesn't know what to do? She's managed to say absolutely nothing in the first year of her vice presidency, anything of intelligence or cohesion. Or is it that she's afraid of saying something wrong and getting herself in trouble for going against the Biden administration? Right? Like, we should change direction. We should do other things. Yeah, that makes sense politically, right? If there's one thing Kamala Harris has done right, is have really high quality knee pads and make sure she says the right things to those people who are empowering her. What a world, and it wouldn't make any sense for her to, slurp her way to the bottom of the heap. Instead, she's gotten to the top. And so I don't think she's dumb enough to make that mistake. Is there a better course of action? Of course, there's a better course of action. But if your role, your job, your agenda is to destroy the United States of America as a great, powerful economic, political engine of freedom, well, you need to destroy things economically. And you do that by shutting down sectors of the economy, punishing people, right? Putting ridiculous requirements on it. In other words, this era is going to be remembered in history as a time when the most ignorant and stupid amongst us were in positions of power, and the people believed the stupid shit they were saying. And I don't say that for comedic effect, even though a lot of people think I'm pretty good at entertaining. All 81,000 of you out there. The deal is, folks, is that it's out of control. This idea, progressive Democrat socialism, it adopts the most ridiculous notions as their own and pushes them. Right? I wish we could get out of it easily, but we can't, because these ridiculous Marxist notions and ideas have been sold to children in school and college, who then grew up and had children of their own, who they continue to indoctrinate and believe that everything that a Democrat leader says is absolutely right. And that's gotten to the point where they can say stupid shit like, you need an identification card to come out of your house in Washington, D.C., but you don't need one to go vote, right? We don't need a southern border to protect the country, but we do need a concrete barrier to protect the White House. Nancy Pelosi needs a barrier around her house. Yeah, it's funny. We don't need guns, but politicians need private security details. Hello there, Bentley. Sorry, buddy. If you step on those keys, you may shut down the program. All right. Militant Roots says this: I work at a large flagship power station. We're one bad day away from being shut down for months due to lack of parts. And thank you, sir, for bringing us that information. That's right, folks. You've heard about lack of parts, so they can't make new cars. Or they can make 99% of a new car, but it won't operate because they're missing just a few critical parts. Please keep that up there, Jolene. I'm going to refer to it for several minutes here. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, we can't get enough workers at the chicken factory, so we're going to have to slaughter a bunch of chickens. You know, every time, folks, in every sector, we've discovered the weak link, right? The chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Our infrastructure is only as strong as our weakest link. You can have gold-plated freeways from sea to shining sea, but if that one little 1 mile section that crosses the Mississippi River is broken, the system fails, right? In a power company, like an automobile, they need parts. Like a repair shop, they're not getting parts for repairing vehicles. Is a power station any different? You know, a place that makes electricity, whether it's coal, natural gas fired, or whether it's nuclear, even solar and windmill farms, folks, they have parts that need to be replaced. They don't have unnecessary parts built into these systems, folks, right? Anything unnecessary is superfluous and doesn't make any sense, just increases costs, right? You don't need beauty mirrors on on a generator. Doesn't do any good, right? It's not a frickin' disco. So you don't put useless parts in these places, but the parts that are required are required. And you break that one last piece, that weak link, and they're shut down. Now he's saying, Militant Roots is saying, they could be shut down for months. What does that mean to you in the United States of America? Well, they could definitely go and say, well, we don't have enough power to go around. We're going to start doing rolling blackouts, meaning today it's Georgia, tomorrow it's South Carolina, then Tennessee, and then the day after that it's going to be Mississippi, right? And they'll just shut down sectors of the grid for a day here and a day there. Hey, that'll fix things, won't it? No, it won't fix things, but it'll certainly let us know how incompetent the government is. Additionally, I would like to call back to something I noted back in 2008 during the great crisis of that time. When companies said, you know what, in order to make our company look more profitable, we're going to cut down on our warehouse inventory. That's right, we're not going to store extra parts in our warehouse so that when customers need them, we'll have them. Instead, we'll manufacture parts as they're ordered. So instead of having a bunch of faucets in a plumbing supply house, I have to call up and order one and wait 6 fucking weeks for one to show up. Right? In order for companies to look more profitable, they would shut down factories and wings and divisions and lay people off to save money now so that at the end of the year it looks more profitable, and the CEOs and CFOs and COOs all get massive bonuses. But in the end, ultimately what this does is it removes backup parts. It removes operational redundancy. You might want to look up operational redundancy for something like a submarine, an aircraft carrier, a nuclear power plant, right? You need redundancy. You need extra parts. You need to be able to run all the time. You don't need to have the system shut down because you don't have the right size paperclip. Unbelievable where they're taking us, folks. Thank you again, Jolene. That was good. Thank you, Militant Roots, for bringing up that topic. Hey, how about water? Oh yeah, we lost a part. Our turbines are down. We can't feed the system water, so you're out of a water supply. So don't drink the water coming out of your taps, folks. If you can even get any, it may be contaminated. Oh, by the way, do you have a Berkey water filter? Yeah, go to the club, thepreparedmind.club, and get your water filter to filter disgusting garbage and pollutants out of your water. Might be a good idea to get practicing on that now. Chester Wolf the Griffin checks in. He says this: I have friends and family who work in the shipping and logistics industry supplies, who works in the shipping and logistics industry. Supplies are intentionally not being delivered or being delivered at the last minute. I'm getting more and more reports of this. It is not comforting. Right? This is like, a hurricane's coming. It'll be here in 3 days. Why don't you wait till the last frickin' minute to do something about it? Makes no sense, does it? Thankfully for the state of Florida and Mississippi and Louisiana and Texas and others, right, you get at least a few days notice with hurricanes. Earthquakes, not so much. Not so much, right? An earthquake goes off, things get broken, things get snapped, and you need to be back up right away. Yeah, it is not good where they're pushing us, where they're taking this nation. They are weakening us. National security. How about, the health and safety of the people? Maybe OSHA should give a shit about the health and safety of the people and not, shall we say, ensuring that they have employment. Well, Tom R. checks in and says, man, that was a good ruling today. This is no big win, though. Do you think Newsom will come in and try and mandate it for the state? The answer is yes. They're going to try and push it. I mean, Newsom's already said in order to go to school that children must be Jim Jones juicinated. Now, here's the deal. Even in the federal level, the way the Supreme Court said the jurisdiction for Biden to mandate healthcare workers to take the Jim Jones juice, the connection or the nexus was the fact that those hospitals and medical facilities receive federal funding. So the government can, because they're offering the benefit or payment of their monies, they can then in turn attach riders or requirements, provisos, quid pro quos, if you will. Follow me on that? So if you're a hospital or a facility, medical, that is not accepting or receiving any federal money, then you don't have to listen to what he has to say. So in California, public schools receive money from the federal government and from state government. And so they can say, if you want your kid to go to that government school, then you have to obey our edicts. Right? So, yeah, Governor Newsom's going to try saying, I'm the supreme power in this state. Sorry, Jaggle, you're not. But he's going to say he is, and he's going to lie about it. Hey, they can lie about whatever they want. Who's going to stop them? They tried recalling Newsom, and he won the recall election, right? Yeah. Right. He was everybody's buddy for about a week before that election. And then he just turned on everyone, right? Thumbed his nose at him, pissed on him, and then kept doing the same thing. Unbelievable. There's a lot of areas where there needs to be a good old political denial of authority. You know, I can't say naughty real words. I have to make stuff up. There's going to be hell to pay. There's going to be hell to pay at some point, right? A governor has no more right to tell you what to do than the president does. The same common law, the same, shall we say, nature's law, God's law, that directs and rules over the federal universe, rules over the state universe. The U.S. Constitution is written the same at every state level. Every state has its own constitution. The federal government has his, and every state has their own. Same rules govern, same rules apply. But instead of having a president, we have governors at the state level. You still have a First Amendment, a Second Amendment, a Third Amendment, a Fourth Amendment, a Fifth Amendment, et cetera, so on and so forth. The governor has no more right to tell anyone what to do than the president. Just because he's in the same state doesn't give him the right. Because he's governor, he does not have supreme executive authority. He is operating within a limited government, constitutional republic at the state level, not the federation level. Think of the federal government as a federation, folks. It is many individual countries, if you will, coming together to work in a federated system, you know, a cooperative system amongst which the members all agree to behave and you know, get along very well. That's what a federalized system is. So the governor is no more supreme executive than the president. But we're going to have to test these things. And we're going to have to test and be tested by tyranny. Moving on, we have Big Country. He says, John, I had to pass up a great job opportunity. No jab, no hire. But current employees were exempt. What sense did that make? Guess that's how they're going to get around losing workers. They're going to get around losing workers that way while they can. While they can. They're going to continue to push their luck. Any company that requires the Jim Jones juice, as far as I'm concerned, no. Let's see. I won't lose any sleep or weep tears for these companies if their corporate headquarters burned to the ground into a pile of steaming ashes. Any company that would tell somebody that they own the workers to the extent they can tell them how to run their lives, forget it. And I know a lot of people believe, well, you know, this company's paying your bills. No. I'm producing for the company. You know, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. But, you know, we all have a choice. Don't work for those companies. Put them out of business. Hospitals right now, folks, are going out of business. Lots of companies are going out of business. I think Dick's Sporting Goods. I think Walmart's. I think a lot of these Catholic hospitals who are denying their own employees religious exemptions for cerveza bug, Jim Jones juice madness. They're denying them, and they're a religious hospital, and they're denying a religious exemption. They need to go out of business. But the end result is, folks, they're going to put everyone out of business, or they're going to make everyone part of this great experiment. And by great, I don't mean great and good. I mean great as in big and disastrous, like the Titanic. Right? And I love watching all the people get on board that Titanic called the Biden Express. I love seeing everyone climb on board. They make sure that they've got all the Jim Jones juice in their veins that they can hold as they climb aboard that Titanic and laugh at everyone else as if they're the unsinkable, right, giant of the universe. You know, and I'm looking at the hull of the ship. I'm looking at the hull of this Fauci Titanic. And it hasn't even barely left port, and you can see the rivets busting, splitting at the seams. Good luck when the seas get really rough, because I understand liberty, folks. I understand freedom. I understand the Declaration of Independence, and I understand the Constitution. I've read the Bible cover to cover. I know who I am. While I'm not perfect, you know, I'm just a guy, but I certainly know the difference between right and wrong. Don't you? I am prepared to deal with an awful lot of this shit that's coming. You know, and I'm not saying it's going to be fun. I'm not saying I'm guaranteed to survive. I'm saying, hey, it's going to be a mess. The people and what they're doing, it's not making things better. It's making it worse. Unbelievable shit is occurring right now at greater and greater rates. And the people in charge are not backing off. They're not giving up. They're not going away. Supreme Court wants to stop them in one form or fashion. They'll just go around it in another. Yeah, the federal government can't do that, but can the governors? And the governors can try it. And then we have to wait for a court to hear it, and then the appeal, and then make it to the Supreme Court yet again, for the Supreme Court to yet again sidestep the issue, take the coward's way out, rule 50-50 so everybody is happy and everybody is sad at the same time. It's a sick game, folks. And I choose not to participate. That's why I put myself in the freest area of the country for the things that I need in my life. I hope that you do the same for yourself. Whatever it is that you need, your family needs, you put yourself in the best place and the best position to deal with everything that's coming. I would hate to be in California, New York. I would hate to be in Illinois. I would hate to be somewhere it's cold. Oh, I've had enough cold, right? But for other people, that's a plus. A lot of people want to be right in the middle of the really stinky shit when it gets really nasty, right? For whatever reason. I don't. I like it where I'm at. But I think that the consequences of what's being done is inescapable, that it's coming. And so I pray that you're all prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Do you see what's coming? Well, I think that if you're part of this program and you've been paying attention, and I know you have, then you do see what's coming and you are getting prepared. Don't waste your time, folks. You know, get to it right away. Godspeed, Semper Fi. And I'll see you tomorrow.